Cool. Right, everyone. Welcome to tonight's stream. We're just gonna have a chilled evening. No racing. This is really just gonna be a start of a sim racing relax and chill chat stream. I'm gonna have a replay of one of my races playing in the background as we chat. Hopefully the noise doesn't come through too strong. Let's just dial it down. So just let me pause this quickly. We're gonna go back slightly to the beginning here quickly, and I want to address something and the idea with this series. This series is purely based for awesome races. I like to encourage awesome races to plug in and to ask questions in chat. Please, the more you engage in chat, we can get the questions answered and help you understand a little bit more about sim racing. We all enjoy sim racing. Sim racing is fun. We all that do sim racing have got some sort of level of motorsport. We have a passion and love for motorsport, and this is a series which I have been wanting to start for a while. I'm just having to get the structure right. I have had a chat to someone earlier on today who will be part of the discussions, which brings more enlightenment to the sim racing topic, with their experience, with their knowledge. So basically, just to run over some basics of what we're going to be discussing in the background, and I'm going to try and see if we can spot any examples in the lesson, in the replay. So basically, this is going to be a sim racing 101. We'll get more into technical but physical products later on in the series, but this is also just addressing those sim racers that are out there, being rookies, beginners, intermediates, advanced. As a race driver, people make mistakes. We get that 100%, right? But what I'm finding in general, and this is a general conversation, so hence my encouragement for engagement in chat is also key, because feel free to leave your experiences that you've had in chat. We know that sim racing can be a very political and bullying and just a egotistical space that we find ourselves in sometimes. Not necessarily us, you know, I might not be getting egotistical on track. If something happens and I find myself at fault, I apologize. Simple. Is it frustrating when you're late in a race and someone in front, especially if you're doing a multi-class race and something happens? 100%. Especially if you're up front in the top 5 or top 3 and you're going through traffic or traffic is around and someone makes a mistake and you get taken out. It's a little bit disheartening. Frustrating, yes, I've had it at Monza in the 2.4 hour, where I had it was a GDP or LMP2, I can't remember offhand now, but I was running 6th, 7th, chasing 6th, closing the gap down to P3, 4 and 5, and enjoying the race. And 1/3 into the race, unfortunately, they spun on the exit of the last corner. Was stationary. I tapped off mid corner to take on the inside line, and what happened is they happened to try and accelerate out of the way, and well, the inedible happened. Was I fuming? Was I upset? 100%. Did I fluke and swear? No. Did I call them names? No. Did I say, please hold your brakes next time? Yes. Was my expression on my stream frustration? Yes. Because it is frustrating. But it's how you conduct yourself. And where I'm going with this is, it's very quick to swear at somebody when you've got the opportunity to speak in a race. Is it distracting to the other drivers? 100%. But they do also have the opportunity to mute. Do I say that in context that, well, you should continue the conversation the whole entire race? Absolutely not. So I'm going to start. This is obviously running up to the start of the race. Now just watch this purple car. One of these cars do go off and rejoin, but that's not technically the problem, so to speak. Yes, someone ahead does go off. People leaving enough space. Track is lightly weight. Some guys, they took the race in dries, they took a chance. There goes a car off track. What I find funny enough is the rejoin. It's fine. The car behind him gave him space, allowed him to rejoin. Respectfully, 100%. Now you're gonna see everyone's bunching up. This car's out of place, stagnant lines. Now, you would have seen that move from the BMW. Now, I'm in the McLaren, right? And I'm using this purely as an example, right? Because one thing I know is wet track, cold tires, cold brakes. We all know, right? I'm leaving the gap to the car in front of me for a reason. Now, the rule in thumb, even in real life, if you're driving down the road, the traffic's backing up in the one lane, and you leaving a fair enough gap, someone's going to want to come into this pocket here. He's going to want to come in and tuck in here somewhere, right? Because you can see there's a gap there to fit in. He's even leaving a fair enough gap, right? So the moment this car shows interest going between here, I'm backing off. I'm giving him the space. That's called racecraft awareness. Was it maybe too cautious? Well, that depends. You see, he makes the move. I move over to give that extra space, that extra cushioning for me. Yes, I'm close to the white line, but I know this car behind me can't now tuck it up down the white line, right? So I see that car move over, so fine, I'm safe. He's not going to try and come on the inside, he's giving space. Now exactly what I thought was going to happen is the purple car went in there, cushion between myself and that car. All now, that was a questionable rejoin. I'm not going to stop the replay every single time. I want to get through a couple of things off of my chest, right?
I'm sorry, mate. I don't know if it
See,
was your fault or
he's
mine.
made a mistake.
It's supposed
He's apologized. 100% correct. Now you'll notice something. I just saw that now when I was going into turn 1. I heard the comms over the radio, so I knew something happened. I increased my gap here, and there's a big massive cushion here. A big massive cushion. So I got space. I can stop in this distance, and I have got room. I don't want to hit the water if I can help it. Watch what happens. Now this car is in the middle of the track. He's holding his line. He's moved slightly over, which has forced me to get on the brakes a little bit more to avoid the accident. But it's fine. Keep it tight. It's cool. So I was thinking of sharing my notes. Sharing my notes on screen. But I'm just going to, if anyone wants notes, they can let me know. Leave a comment in my chat. I'm always willing to help anyone. So basically learning racecraft, right, is learning to be clean and effective. So effective overtakes. Don't just send it into turn 1. Because you're not going to win the race by sending it into turn 1 when there's cars around you. If there's a percentage that there's going to be an accident. Alright, you need to learn how to overtake, and overtaking doesn't mean that the overtake has to only happen on the racing line. You can overtake off racing line, which gets to my next point, is defending and positioning without causing a collision. Now there's a prime example, LMP2, that's on dries, I think, that I had to avoid there.
Mike, are you on slicks or what?
And the thing is, it's your responsibility as a driver to be aware of what's happening. As you see, I'm fully aware of the car on my left. I'm fully aware that LMP2 is behind and another GD3 is behind. So being aware, positioning your car correctly. I'm focused.
That was nice side by side, but scary as hell.
I am fully aware of what's happening behind me as well as in front of me. So the thing is, it's not just about worrying what's in front. It's being aware of the car behind you, if it's a faster driver, if it's an aggressive driver, if it's unusual behavior by a driver. Now, I was aware of the car behind the McLaren behind me, that he was looking at making a move. I was fully aware he was there, but I wasn't bothered by him. I didn't find it necessary to change my line or anything, but I was paying attention to the accident ahead. So I can't control what the car behind me does. I can only hope that he or she has the same level of awareness, right? So you need to, we've spoken about traffic in GD3 sprint races or any sprint race. Fuel's not really an issue. When you're doing the longer sprint races, like these 40-minute sprint races, usually you're capped to 55 liters that you start with. Learn how to set up your pit stop. In weather changing conditions is a little bit more tricky than just racing in one condition, but practice your pit entry, your pit exits, strategize, play around in practice against AI or in a practice session on your pit entries, when to pit, play around with different strategies, how long to stay out, are you fast on less fuel, more fuel, or, you know, all of those type of things. managing your risk
You guys are incredible.
and your timing. Well, as we see, there's a BM off there, and there's another one off there, and there's one avoiding turn one. Managing risk. So again, comes down to overtaking, being overtaken. Like in these wet conditions, was not suitable for the McLaren. So for me to try and chase through to the front right off the start was not going to be conducive to the McLaren, not in the moderately wet or lightly wet situation. Simply because there were stronger cars in these conditions. So even if I was faster, it wasn't necessarily going to gain me any time or places. Though keeping it safe and managing my race has gained me positions because I wasn't involved. Not because I was not fast enough, but because I choose to manage my risk better. I chose not to push it in the first 4 or 5 laps, and I chose to keep it on track, minimizing my risk, which is not only when you're overtaking, but it could be a spin, could be an off track, could be pinning it into the wall, could be a bounce of anything. So that ties in with keeping calm under pressure, maintaining your spatial awareness. How much space do I have behind me? How much space do I have next to me? How much space do I have in front of me? In all conditions, not just wet or dry or wet to dry, in all conditions or situations. So you'll see as I'm gaining closer onto the white McLaren, I'm stronger into turn 1. So I know where I'm stronger. I will sit and I will manage the lap. I won't just go, oh, I'm quicker in turn 1, I'm quicker on the whole lap. No, because in most cases, or in some cases, another driver might be stronger than you into all the other regions of the lap. And therefore, you're not going to be stronger around the whole entire lap. Again, comes down to experience. Experience. I'm in sim racing for 4 years, 3 years, 3.5 years. And experience comes with time. So your racecraft and what separates fast drivers from great drivers is essentially being in control under pressure, being aware of your spatial awareness, right? Again, in front of you, behind you, either side of you. Knowing how to defend, protecting your position legally and safely.
Whoa.
So, safely is, am I moving under braking? Is there a car coming on my inside? I can't move under braking. I'm not allowed to. It's against rule. But yet people still do it. When am I overtaking? Am I overtaking on the exit of the corner? Am I overtaking into a braking? And if I'm going to overtake into a braking area zone, am I going to be able to stop and turn in and keep the entry to the corner tight and the exit wider and like be able to make the overtake safely? Those are all things you need to understand with overtaking, and that goes with overtaking strategies as well as race lines versus battle lines. Now, it's a very interesting phrase I use, battle lines, because sometimes most of the time is always a sacrifice. One or the other car is either going to be on the racing line, the ideal line, defending or attacking. So in dry conditions, your racing line usually has the most grip. So if you're on the racing line, someone's not on the racing line, they need to be able to control the car off racing line. If it's the other way around, and you're going for an overcut or an undercut, or you are going to go around the outside of a bend, you need to be aware of what that car's characteristics are like, racing that car offline. So how do you get that experience? The best way to get that experience when practicing is to not race on the racing line. Don't drive on the racing line. Drive off the racing line in dry conditions, in wet conditions, in any conditions. Don't use ideal line. So like for example, yeah, everyone goes in towards the inside. Take the GT3 and go in the middle, go on the outside, go on the inside, go inside to out, go outside to in. Change your lines up. Feel what the car is doing. Is it oversteering? Is it understeering? Is it grip? Is it no grip? Do I need to maybe increase the traction control? If I'm coming down the straight and planning on going around the outside, do I need to increase the traction control beforehand? How's the car going to handle? How's the car going to sit? I'm not going to have the grip. How do I carry momentum then around the outside? Or is mid-corner outside line better? So if I can hold around the outside and get to the mid-corner and get on the power early enough, can I get the car to rotate enough to maybe tuck on the inside on the exit and I get a better run? All of those things you need to practice. Again, comes into that scenario again. So, spatial awareness. How much space do I have? How close is the other car? Is he on my inside? Is he behind me? Is he in front of me? Is he staggered in front of me? So meaning, if he's staggered in front of me, I'm not directly behind him, but he's either on my inside or he's on my outside. What are the effects? When can I get on the power? How hard can I get on the power? Ideally, you don't want to tramp the power, tramp your throttle, because you're going to create wheel spin. And if you're on the off the racing line, the last thing you want to do is create more lack of grip. You wanting to utilize the momentum a little bit better, which my couple of the biggest guys I used to watch in that races at high levels, your Jimmy Broadbent, your Jardia, your Zaire S's, your Cody Sherritts, Jordan Sherritt, Coach Dave, Academy guys, and watch how they overtake, because really there's a difference between and getting to this is there's a big difference between a car racing you for position, right, and there's bumping going on. That's racing. That's gonna happen. That happens in real life. Go and watch GT3 racing. Go and watch Le Mans. Go and watch Formula 1. Yeah, Formula 1 cars are very finicky. Go and watch GT3s. Go and watch touring cars. Go and watch motorsport. And the reason why I'm emphasizing on this is because I've seen so many guys get so upset with a little bit of bumping and barging, arging and barging for position, and they want to go and report them because they got a 4x for contact. That's petty. That's honestly, that's petty. What's even more petty is other people seeing that and wanting to report it, but yet there was nothing illegal. It was just simply racing. And what I mean by this is Virginia, for example. Virginia, where you go towards the oak tree and you've got a left hand, it's quite fast, even on the opening lap, doesn't matter what car you're in. Done in the M2, I've done in GT3, I've done in Hypercar, I've done in MP2, I've done in F4s, I've done in 1600s. If And it comes back to your spatial awareness. So if you know guys in front of you are, in inverted commas, slower, when you come into that left-hander, for example, there is a strip on the inside curb that you can use. The idea is to get as close to the strip to get the best exit out. Now, if you're going to hover from the right-hand side of the track, and you're going to hover slowly through the middle, I can trust me, the car behind you, the reason why he's not right up your rear end on entry is because he's seen a gap. And he's seen a gap that is there. Why? Because he's predicting you, if you're on the out turning in to the middle, that you're going to run out to the outside. Because that's where you should go. Right? And then you come down through the dip and you obviously change your direction. Now, if you're going to not be in a position to accelerate and, you know, break that mid corner and a car behind you collects you, well, but by the same token, you've moved now from the middle to try and move over to prevent. That's unfortunately on you. Not just the car behind you. It's not a reportable offense, it's a racing incident. Come to it again. If I'm racing down here, as you see, there's a red and white Porsche behind me. He's moving, wanting to move left. I haven't moved left yet because I'm not reaction driving. I know he's there. I don't care. I know he's there. But I know if I stay on the racing line, I've got the most grip, I've got the line, and I've got the space between him and I to stay on the racing line. There's no need for me to start defending. Because for whatever reason, he can't close the gap down the straight. But he's quick into the corner exit once again. I know he's there. He's wanting to go on the inside. I've stayed in the middle. And I've taken the outside. I haven't gone in. He can go in if he wants to. And as you see in the replay, actually, as I'm explaining this, now again, I could defend. I haven't chosen to defend yet. And he hasn't chosen to attack. I don't need to. I know I'm quicker through here. But there's spatial awareness. The car behind him just about touched his back bumper as he was just about to turn in. Had he been a couple of kilometers faster, would he have turned the Porsche around? Maybe. So I know what's happening behind me, but I also know I'm chasing two cars in front of me. Again, it's close enough for me. I'm not worried about defending. I'm holding my lines. If he wants to get past, he can get past. He's gone to the outside, now I defend. Because I lost traction. So now I know if I defend, I had to defend. I made the decision as I came out the previous corner, I'm going to defend. Again, I've moved. And I not quite defended, but not stayed on the outside there, because braking on the outside for that corner in the wet with McLaren is just deadly. I've been completely sideways around that corner. This is frightening. Slightly getting off topic with this discussion. I hope if you guys find this video informative, let's put it that way. So I would encourage you to go and watch Jimmy Broadbent, go and watch Jardia. Yes, Jardia races more Acer Corsa Competizione. It's another sim, guys. It's another sim. There's nothing wrong with it. I started on Acer Corsa Competizione. I went to R Factor 2, and from R Factor 2, I came to iRacing. Or any other sims, neither bad nor better than the other. No, they got their pros and their cons. That's a topic for a different day, because that's going to get me on for another hour. Use some racing tool, guys. But before we get to that, go and watch how the likes of your Jimmy Broadbent, see? Again, there's spatial awareness. Sorry, I just saw that now in the corner of my eye. Watch how I'm looking for the exit. I can see his brake lights. So I know, and crew chief has told me there's an accident. So I'm coming out of the corner, and now I'm only getting on power. Once it's out of the way, spatial awareness. Know what is going on in front of you and behind you at all times. I would encourage you guys to go and watch the likes of Jimmy Broadband, Jardia, Basic Ollie, and go and ask them questions. Go and engage in those communities and learn from the guys that have been here for 10, 15, some been here longer. Some of them are real world racers. Jardia's raced in real world. Basic Ollie recently has started racing in real world race car. Jimmy Broadband, he races in real life. Jordan Sherritt, Cody Sherritt, Zai Acer, those are some South Africans that have got real world racing experience. Mr. Sherritt races for BMW overseas. He's from South Africa. And again, go and watch how they set up overtakes and how when they're getting overtaken, what do they do. How they set up passes, how if they see somebody that's going to overtake them, what they do and what they don't do, and what they should and should not do. And getting on to the next part that gives you this information, right, is sim racing tools. Crew Chief. There's overlays, there's iOverlay, there's Race Labs, there's many to choose from that offer different variants, all do similar same things, that give you the information that you need to make informed decisions in a race. If you're not running Crew Chief, if you don't have your relative open, you can't be aware of your spatial awareness in time. You can't plan overtakes, you can't plan letting someone through on an overtake. Especially if you're racing in multi-class. Because if you don't have your relative open, I've seen guys that race just with their time, with the time remaining on. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. Because it only shows you one car ahead, one car behind. You need to know what's happening further down. So I set mine to 5 behind and 5 below. That way if I'm in a multi-class race, I can see for faster classes coming up. Plus Crew Chief will tell me. Plus if it's racing an endurance race, my teammate that's spotting for me will tell me way before the time. Communication is what I'm getting at, guys. Communication. We've touched on, and this all the sims do it. All the sims have these facilities. iRacing, Assetto Corsa, R-Factor 2, Race Room. They all have the ability for the plugins, for the third-party softwares to operate. There's no excuse, none whatsoever. And in all of those sims, there is internal relatives. As far as I'm aware, I know for a fact, ACC, R-Factor 2, AC, Race Room has it, I think. It's the only one but I'm sure it does. iRacing's got it. You don't need the overlay, but the overlay can show you more because you can custom how much more, how much less you want to see. So these are the things that you need to learn. Staying calm under pressure. Panicking doesn't help anyone. Don't force the move. Don't. If you're not going to get past cleanly before the corner or after a corner, don't force it mid-corner. Back out of it before you get into the corner. Because 9 out of 10 times, if you're not 100% convinced it's going to be a safe overtake, there's going to be contact.
What the fuck?
And if you're going to wait for the last second to turn in to get into a spot, that's Starbomb-mania. That's where accidents happen. That's why accidents happen. Faster guys. Doesn't even have to be a faster class, guys. It can be a faster car behind you. If you see, again, your relative would tell you. If you have your relative open, 4 cars back, 5 cars back, it tells you what their lap times are. It tells you, and you can see what their lap time is. So, if you're doing 152s around Monza, and the car behind you is doing 149s, let him through. Don't fight the position. It's not your fight. Let him go. Because 10 to 1, he out-qualified you. So therefore, He's faster. On that topic though, there are situations where
It's too wet for
a guy can
drive.
out-qualify you, but not have the same race pace as you, which means you might be able to sustain your lap times longer under race conditions, but you might have had a bad quali run, you
Yeah,
might
wet
not
or
be
dry.
as good as qualifying with low fuel. Does that mean go out and practice low fuel? No. No. It is what it is. And usually the one skill that was taught to me, luckily very early on in my sim racing career, was practicing for a race, be it a 45-minute race, an hour race, a 3-hour race. If you are just purely focusing on your quali time, that does nothing for your racecraft. There's nothing for your race duration pace. But if you are practicing with a full tank or with 80 liters, and your times are getting better and your racecraft's getting better, then you reduce the fuel, you'll be quicker, or at least matching. The racecraft in the race is more important than a one-lap wonder. I call them one-lap wonders because they might just have a pace in one lap that they go faster than you. They out-qualified you. I don't necessarily stress too much about it. Especially for now, I haven't had a good quali run. And if I've gone and driven the socks out of the car for that quali run, it was the best quali run I've had, and they still out-qualify me, good to them. Great, well done. And if you manage to outrace me at race pace, fair play. But if you don't,
Should I took wet or
and
dry?
instead of accepting the overtake, and you take me out in it, well, that's not right. Which
Okay.
happens.
Thank you.
There's guys that fight for position that once the car behind them does get passed, within a quarter of a lap, they 2-3 seconds ahead of the road. I've had it in these races.
Sketchy for the first 2 laps, but after
Um,
that, they okay.
And then lastly, guys, just, you know, what is alongside and what is not alongside, because a lot of people, and I've had it before even with my own teammates, go, yeah, but he wasn't alongside. Well, according to rules, and in some leagues and in some classes, alongside is actually their front wheels by your rear wheels, not their front wheels by your door, or their front wheels by your front wheels. It's actually their nose, technically, by your back wheels. That's alongside. When it comes to leaving space, you need to leave at least a car width. Some leagues are a little bit iffish. Some want to say half a car. It's a little bit tight, but yeah, I've seen it is doable. It's not nice, but it's doable.
Need some space, dude.
And yeah, just don't move under the braking. Don't squeeze them either. Because a lot of guys, what they do is the car will be alongside and they'll start pushing over and starting to actually push this car more towards the white line and off track, and then turn in and get spun out and go, oh no, but what do you think you were doing? Well, technically that's your fault, because if you, again, spaciously aware that this car is here, you need to leave him enough room around the entire corner, not just in the braking zone. So in actual fact, you'll see what guys usually do is they'll move slightly over to leave enough room, because usually there is a bit of slide in a corner. So you need to gauge that. You need to give enough room. Now, if there's a bit of rubbing and touching mid-corner, that's racing. But if you're not going to leave this car room, and you've been squeezing him, and now you come down into the braking zone, he's got nowhere to go, and you turning your nose and turning in front of him, well, where do you expect him to go? Leave enough room. Guys, I'll go turn around in the corner. Well, hello. Go back, look at the replay. And before you want to run and report it, go and look at it realistically and ask yourself the question, could I have done anything differently? Not my ego. Could I have done anything differently to avoid it? Can I honestly look myself in the mirror and say I didn't know he was there? When you should have a spotter, a racing spotter, or your crew chief, or your relative will tell you he's there. Okay, so yes, we've gone through when they are alongside and when they're not alongside. If you are side by side in a corner, both drivers are responsible for no contact. So both drivers share the responsibility to avoid contact.
What?
Again, if you squeeze him, leave him space. Because it's not only his responsibility, it's your responsibility to go around the corner. Remember, you've decided not to give the position up
Thanks for
if
pushing
it's
me
a
off, man.
faster driver or not. Okay. So you made the conscious decision to go side by side into a corner, right? It's both yours and the other driver's responsibility not to make contact, to avoid contact. If you make contact, well, you both are responsible for the contact. As you watch there's a prime example. I wasn't side by side, but I consciously made the decision. I could have, because I was faster. I knew I was faster. I'm already on a different line. Showing him my intention is to come into the inside. Right? He's left me enough room. He's left me more than enough room if I chose to continue that line. He's left me enough room. If I wanted to go through there, I could have taken the risk. But I chose not to. And I got off throttle, got back on throttle, got it turned in and got him on the exit rather. There's a prime example. We might not have been side by side into the corner, but he left me enough room. So if I wanted to go into that gap, I could have, but it was I would be responsible if I spun out and took him out, then it would be on me.
No crash.
Visual references. Again, this is where things like Race Labs, iOverlay, Helicorsa for Assetto Corsa. Helicorsa, that's the app for Assetto Corsa. Okay. What not to do? Don't squeeze them off the track, which is what I've gone through. Don't cut across their line. So, if you're going into a corner or you're in a corner, don't cut across them. Just hold your line through the corner. Unfortunately, if you're on the outside, you're going to be slower possibly. You might not have the ideal line, you might not have the traction. Again, goes back to practicing both on racing line and off racing line. As you can see, again, yeah, I've chosen stay behind. I'm quicker mid corner. I came off the throttle again. Yes, there's an LMP behind me. But again, these are all decisions, and this is why I'm having this play in the background. I'm quicker than him. Let's see, what do I do here? Do I follow? I follow the LMP2. Okay, this was a little bit of a chaotic moment. But don't squeeze, don't cut across. Now you could argue that's exactly what the Porsche did here. Is he came across the front of me. He should know that I'm here because I was behind him. I've moved over. Whoop! He's cut across my nose. But, again, he's left me enough room. But again, I've made the decision to get on the brakes longer. To avoid contact. And 2, I know this LMP2 is here. So I know if I stick my nose in here, spin on the water, I could potentially take not only myself out, the Porsche out, and this LMP2. So I hold on the brakes, and I just tuck him behind him and I stay there. So, oh, that's a bad rejoin by. Again, seen it early. Again, there's another one. I've seen the car off track. I know he's having to go on this. I've seen this car here. I know this car's here, and I know there's another car coming up. So what do? I move over. But I leave him more than enough room to go past on his merry way. But now I've got the inside line, and I've decided I'm going to take him under braking. That was a bit close. But I'd made, oh, that was, got a braked on the wrong line there. See what I've done here? See what I've done here? I know my turn 1 was bad, and I've run wide. Now instead of hitting this curb and drifting in front of him, what did I choose to do? I tucked it in tight. Yes, I lose a position, but that's 100% fine. I'd rather have that than take us both out because my ego is too important. I don't want to lose a position, my ego, I was there first. No, it doesn't matter, I made the mistake. Well, this was very interesting. This was pretty much a 50-50, yeah. This GDP should potentially not have sent it. Because I did move here. Netcode. Boom. I tried to slow down enough to give him enough room. But it didn't work. He also got a massive slowdown.
What the hell are you doing, mate? That's reportable, dude.
So again, what to do? Stay in your predictable line and hold your line. Again, like I was explaining, if you're going into a corner and you're on the outside or on the inside, hold your line through the corner. Don't cross over mid-corner.
Not Sergio, Fabio, what the hell were you doing there?
New space when there's an overlap. So an overlap, my nose at your back wheel, you got to leave me enough space around the corner to make for both cars to get around safely. And I've got to make sure that I don't drift into you.
Wide next to 2 GDCs going into second.
And then be willing to give up the corner to avoid a crash.
Dude. You're not entitled.
That's the last point we're going to end on tonight. Is don't think you are. So I knew. So that last, be willing to give up the corner to avoid a crash. You often gain more long term. Okay, now I'm going to play this example again. I've obviously made the overtake. Watch the overtake. I brake on the water. Right? I brake. I hit the line. Squiggle. I've missed turn 1. He's come through. Now, more than enough space. Now, I could go out here and maintain and cut him off, but I don't. Hold my line and avoid the accident. Which means you've got to keep this corner tighter. Which is exactly what I do. I initially, 1, avoided the accident, hold my line, kept the corner tight, and lost the position. Agreed? Let's see how this plays out. That was a bit of a freak. But there's netcode again, which actually I see pushes him off.
Sergio, what the hell are you doing, mate?
Okay, I got the position back. But he comes back. So the whole thing is you've got to be prepared to sacrifice the corner. I knew I'd made a mistake into turn 1. Got on the brakes, hit the line, cross wheel. I knew I wasn't making the apex, left it open, left it completely open, and on the second corner of the chicane, I kept it tight. And I knew by keeping it tight I was going to lose a position and race forward back. The fact that the GDP came and stuck his nose in where he shouldn't have, that's debatable. So that's all I want to leave you with this evening, guys, is just be aware of your surroundings. There are tools out there for you to use. There are ways to practice to improve your racecraft. Practice on the racing line, practice off the racing line. Feel what the car is doing on both. Learn both lines. The ideal racing line and your off racing line. That will help you in races. Again, don't get into this egotistical my corner nonsense. I wanted to call it something else. Or my nose is ahead, it's not. Guys, if there's a car by your back wheel, he's alongside. Your relative will show you, your crew chief will tell you, your spotter will tell you. Just get around the corner. Hold your line, give them enough space, and fight it out down the straight. Remember, if you're going to take someone out because you want to get through turn 1 before them, you might not even manage to finish turn 1. But in the same time that happens, you might take out 3 other guys that had nothing to do with your little ego trip. So please, when you are racing, I've always looked at it as, if I wouldn't put my real car in that position, I'm not going to do it. If there's a 10% chance I'm not going to do it in a real scenario, in a real life scenario, I don't make the move. But if I know I can make the move and make it stick either before the corner or after the corner, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to make an overtake into a corner, I'll make sure 100% that I'm past before the apex. Because I want to get the hell away from any possible contact after the corner. So, guys, be safe. Think about what you guys are doing before you make an overtake. Lap 1, acknowledge coil tires, brakes. Doesn't matter what form you're racing, whether it's open wheelers, whether it's NMPs, whether it's GDPs, GD3s, GD4s, MX5s, does not make any difference. There are no winners by sending it from the back, or the middle pack, or the 4th line to the front. It's always going to be 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a death. And if you're not collected in there, you have still caused it because of a concertina effect. Spatial awareness. Stop this egotistical macho onset. And guys, please, if you are new to sim racing, and when I say new, if you've been doing sim racing for a few months, you are new to sim racing. Don't think you know everything. Again, put your ego aside and learn from other people, because all you're telling every other sim racer that you're going to be egotistical to and act as if they don't know what they're talking about, but yet they've been sim racing 4 years longer than you have, is just remember something. They've learned what you still need to learn. Now, I'm not going to go into that debate. I'm not going to go into that topic right now. We will address those things in the next one. Possibly. That will be a topic that we will address. Because if I'm new to sim racing and I've only been sim racing on a couple of months, and I've come from one sim like ACC or R Factor, and I've come to iRacing, and I think I'm all the man. Well, it's a very humbling experience when you show up and you don't show up, and you're nowhere. But when other sim racers try and guide you or give you advice, on one hand you take it and put it into your own words, but on the next hand you're lashing out at them. Well, that's your own insecurity. Again, that comes down to your egotistical, your self-insecurity, and backlashing them and calling them names or trying to be discrimination of their character. That's technically what you start stepping into. Discrimination of character is a legal matter, right? So that's not for this channel. I don't tolerate it. I don't do it. So basically what I'm saying is, before you want to call someone else out, try and not falsely call them out and stuff, because I've had it before where there's been a lot of debates on rules, technicality. Some leagues want to run rules as per the rule book. Some don't. They call them gentlemen clubs. That's 100% fine. Then go race a gentleman's club. But don't want to come and race where there are rules, strict rules, and expect to make a mistake and not say sorry. That's what I'm getting down to. If you make a mistake, just apologize, dude. My last race at Le Mans, guy came out the pits, two cars in front of me. He went straight around them in turn one, cut them both off in the second part of that chicane, spun the one car out. I came off the throttle, tried to miss the car. They were spinning. He hit me. I was like, great. Like, didn't even apologize. Didn't apologize. But he was almost like a 3.5 or 4.5K R rating. Guys, again, R rating's a number, right? This is the thing. There are guys that race for long periods of time. They put the time, they put the practice in, right? You don't. Now you just rock up and you drive, you're making a mistake. One, you don't apologize. Two, you have no respect for the other cars on the track because it's not the first time in that race. That's just disgusting behavior. That is disgusting behavior. So, in general, if you're watching someone's stream or someone's watching your stream and they see something and they comment, engage. Don't discriminate what they're saying, or don't argue the fact, or don't try and tell them what you think, because you're clearly wrong. There's a lot that I have learned. There's a lot I'm still learning. There's things that you learn every time. But when it comes to basic rules, racecraft, understanding physics, that's another thing. And blank the obvious. If they make an obvious observation, cool, great, go with it. Discuss it. Turn it into a topic to discuss, opposed to turning into a toxic environment. Because remember, when you're streaming live, you are actually, and more importantly, if you've got sponsors, you're not presenting just yourself. You are presenting you, your team, the brand, the sponsors, the sponsor's reputation, right? Which, if your behavioral reaction is to be ego and to think you know everything and to downplay someone's comment or downplay someone's input, opposed to turning into a positive discussion, you turn it into a negative discussion. What that does is that actually plays a role in the reputation of the brand and people's insight or how they perceive your brand to be, how they perceive you to be, and how they don't understand how a company can tolerate that. Because I've seen in the past in league racing where there was an esports team in our league racing, I think it was R-Factor 2, and there was politics. And the guys just turned around and said, well, no, we're out of here. Politics, stay away from in some racing. Especially if you're new, or if you're a streamer, it doesn't matter. Content is content. Guys like drama. That's the problem with this. Is society like bickering, drama. I don't know, for whatever reason, negativity seems to be more entertaining than positivity. And that's wrong. That's not okay. It's not a yoba. Guys spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy into sim racing. A lot of their hard-earned money, time away from the family, time they could be doing other things. And my coffee's cold. I'm sure there's supposed to be a coffee chat. Gone on for like an hour. Just remember when you're out there and you're driving with sponsors on your stream or on your car, or you're promoting a brand, you yourself need to conduct yourself professionally. And calling people out on track is not professional. Have we done it? Yes, we all probably have. Was it right or wrong? It was wrong. Simple. But if you're racing a fun league race and you call your mate out, technically it doesn't excuse the fact. Okay? It doesn't excuse that you said what you said. Okay? Whether you're chatting to you guys in Discord and you're just making fun of each other, or depending on how your content is built. If I was still in the days where I was sponsoring my own team, right, and it was just fun leagues, and my content was built on humor and funniness and all of that type of thing, and it was my company's reputation, for example, people that know me would know my company, will know the ethics and respect and the whole lot of things that come with it. But when you start calling other people you don't even know from a bar of soap, that's when it gets a little toxic. And it's that toxicity that stays with you, because like I mentioned, drama, bad news travels faster than good news. Now, that aside, that's just how the world works, because I have my own philosophy on that, which I'm not going to get into on this channel. But the thought I'm going to leave you guys with is respect all calls on track, regardless of their level, regardless of who they are, regardless of who you think you are. You know better than anybody else, right? There's no, and in a respectful manner, just because a certain real world racer versus a normal general sim racer, yes, he's faster. Yes, his lap times are better. They're more consistent. He raced for a professional team. But he's not a better, it doesn't make him a better person. It doesn't mean he's any better than anyone else. Now, for some people that might just go straight over your heads. For others, you understand the concept, right? Remember, race etiquette, racecraft. Go and practice your racecraft. Go and try different things. Try and engage more with higher leveled sim races. Steel sim races. Steel River Sim. Another great oak. Duncan. Fantastic oak. He's helped me. Again, you guys, I don't know if you can see it on stream. If anyone is in chat, just let me know. But you'll see there's some code setups. Thanks, Duncan. Hooked me up with Andy, the guys. So if you guys are looking for setups and you want to and you would consider setup shops, not that this is meant to be a some coach setup shops. But feel free, go and have a look, or if you have me in Discord, drop me a DM, and we can get you going. So there's been a lot of information in this stream tonight, and there will be another stream, and we're going to have a special guest on, hopefully next week Friday, and we'll take some of the discussions a little more in depth of sim racing, and we will see what we can do in terms of, if you guys like this, the episodes, leave a comment in the chat. If there's something you want us to chat about specifically, leave a comment in the chat. I'm sure we'll be able to get to it. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your guys' evening. I need to duck, but stay safe. Enjoy the sim racing. Make sure that you enjoy racing, and you enjoy sim racing, and you're enjoying the racing you're doing. Forget about lap times. Forget about all the nonsense. Enjoy the sim racing. Go and practice the things that I've advised on. The information I shared with you this evening is information that was shared to me from guys that were sim racing now for probably about 20 years. It's all information that's been shared to me when I started 3.5 years ago. And then back then they already had 12, 13, 14 years head start on me. So I say they've probably been racing for 20 plus years. And they're all, if you go and talk to them, and you know they'll all tell you the same things. How to improve, where to go, what to do, what not to do, how to and how not to treat people on track. I know it's sometimes difficult to keep your inner soul calm when someone does something very silly. But we're all human at the end of the day. And we all make mistakes, and it's how you react and how you react to someone lashing out at you. Sometimes just say sorry. That's it. Sorry, my bad, made a mistake. Finish is clear. And don't worry about it. But reporting people for petty nonsense, guys, wasting our racing's time. And then you want to wonder why they can't get to everything. When silly reports of, oh, this guy tapped me and got a 4X. Shame. Grow up. Oh, the car ahead, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars ahead. Oh, yeah, They're the scrap. It's not your problem. Not your problem. Did it avoid your race? Did it affect your race? The answer is no. Again, not your problem. Not your space to report stuff. You weren't involved, you don't know what happened, you're perceiving it to be what you think it is. Again, put your ego in your pocket and keep your mouth shut. You can voice your opinion about it, but not your place to go and report something after a fact that didn't even concern you in the first place. And if that other driver had apologized to the other one, it's got nothing to do with you. Not your place to report them. But yeah, that's that, ladies and gentlemen.
Send it through wide next to GDCs going into second chicane. Impatience, dude. You're not entitled.
Sorry, Eduardo. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Oh, but enjoy your guys' evening further, and we'll see you on the next one. We might be doing a stream this weekend if we can do a Le Mans race or whatever the case may be. And yeah, hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Hope you found it encouraging. Oh, and I know I said don't call anybody out, but Neil, if you're watching this, dude, you really need to get into some racing. Really, like really. You know who I'm talking about. But yeah, thanks guys. See you around. Cheers. Bye.